Alright, the 24 Z71 Traverse developed a really slow coolant leak. It wasn't low at all. I just saw a little puddle under it out there in the drive. So I took this cover off, and the only way I can figure out to drain this radiator, because the radiator is way up in here and it's just not easy to drain. So instead of taking this to the dealer, and like I see all the people complain, I had to take my car to the dealer, they've had it for a month waiting on a hose, whatever, I'll handle it myself. This car has about 19,000 miles on it. So just for the information, here's the upper radiator hose that is leaking. I did a pressure test and checked it myself, and it's seeping at the radiator part right here, just a little bit wet on the car. And so here's the new hose. I'll probably save the other hose and look for a new O-ring and keep it as a backup in case I ever need it, which I probably won't. And I looked the parts up online. The original part number was that 8489 7717 for the upper hose. That part number has been replaced by, here's the one where I bought the new hose here from our local dealer. It only took us one day to get this hose, by the way, and that's the newest part number, 2659 5379, and the price on that is about 48 bucks with tax. It's $52 and some odd. What's that say? Anyway, so here's where the hose is, and you just snap these on and off with these little clips. Like a lot of cars are built this way. This is nothing just GM specific. These hoses are probably made for AC Delco by Gates or who knows who, and you can see why they make them this way, make assembly faster. And that's just, I mean, it doesn't matter, Ford, Chevrolet, Nissan, it doesn't really matter what kind of car. They all use these type of hoses anymore, and they have for probably the last 15 years or more. But anyway, the way I'm going to drain this is up here. Let me move some of this out of the way. But there's a hose here, and then there's where that oil cooler is there. I'm just going to take this oil coolant hose off right here and just drain. I'm going to try to save it. I've got some clean pans that I bought just for this from Walmart, actually, like $3 for these. Those hold about almost 2 gallons. It should hold enough. So I'm just going to take that hose loose right there, and then we'll come back and see how this goes in a minute. It's kind of hard to get to that hose at the top, but we'll get to that in a minute and see how that goes. Alright, that didn't take but just a minute to drain, and now you can see right there by just about all drained out now, and it's about 2 gallons that came out of that. So I've got some more coolant if I need it. I'm going to try to reuse that and keep it clean, but if I need some, I've got this. Just be sure to use Dexcool. You can get the Prestone from Walmart or anywhere else, or you can get some from your dealer. I think this is about $15 at Walmart, and the dealer I think wants about $25 or $30 a jug. And this is already has water in it. It's just a 50-50 mix of water already. If you do get the concentrate that you add water, they really recommend you use distilled water so you don't get any, the kind of chlorine or whatever that's in drinking water. It's not really good on engines. So we've all done it, but it's really recommended to use distilled water, and this already has that in it, and so that's what I'll use if I have to have some. Okay, so now we've got the hose back on the bottom, drained about 2 gallons out. So up here, I'll show you how hard this is to get to. Hold the light right here. So there's kind of how the new hose, there's the new hose, and that's kind of how it sits. So this one is right down in there. I don't know if you can see. If down in here, you can't really see it in the video very good, I don't think, but there's where it goes on the radiator. It goes down and underneath. In other words, it's really hard. You're not going to be able to see it. You're going to have to reach your arm in there and feel it. So here's how the hose is put together. So this one, we have to raise this little clip up, wiggle it off the radiator, and on this one, as you can see, the clip is going to be pointing towards the left side of the vehicle, right here. So I'll have to reach in there with a little pick and pull out on that and get it out of there. But I'm going to have to stick my hand way down in here. I'm not going to be able to show. There's no way to show that because I can't even see that. I'm just showing you how tough that is to get to, which is another reason I don't want any monkeys dealing with my cars anyway. They'll probably tear up half the stuff in there trying to do that. So I've done this stuff for a living for many years. It's not a big deal. Thank the Lord I'm not doing it anymore for a living. But and this little clip here clips into the fan, or actually a part of the radiator right there, and that I've already unclipped it there. So anyway, let me reach in there and do that, and I'll come back and show you when I'm done. It's just too much to try to hold a camera and show you that. Alright, so it's a pain in the butt, and there's no good way to show it. You just got to get in there and get your hands in there, and you're going to end up bleeding, you know. Like, it's pretty tough to get in there and unclip these, because see, what you're going to end up doing is pulling these clips back. You can't hardly do it with one hand, but once you pull them back, they'll stay, and then you can pull that hose off. But look at what happens is they get a bunch of sand. I know what it is. It's the casting. These block engine castings, they've got sand in the castings. They're not cleaning them good probably at the factory before they, and so that little bit of sand gets in there, and then it gets between the O-rings, and it just looks like sand to me from the casting, the block castings. And so really ought to flush these cooling systems out. Probably that's all it amounts to. It's either a corrosion of some kind, or I think it's a casting sand. Anyway, that's all it is. This is the upper hose. I'm going to snap the other one back in there and wipe everything, and that's it. But I just wanted you to see that's kind of how they're made. Now the new one has, see, that just looks like an O-ring, probably with a backer O-ring in there. I noticed the new updated part has kind of a dust shield in here. I know you can't see that in a video very good, but it's kind of like a seal you might see on it, like a regular seal. It has a seal and then the O-ring there under it. But anyway, it's not a real simple job, but it's not real time consuming. You can't see none of that. It's just, you got to snake your hand in there and unclip these. And I probably pulled that clip plumb out of that one. I've already dropped it somewhere. But anyway, that's how that works. Alright, we got it filled back up and all the hoses replaced. I know that's not anything I could show you real close up how to do, because it's just a place you got to stick your hands in and do. But I did want to show you the final thing here is to fill this full of coolant. I poured the 2 new gallons into a clean bucket and decided not to use the old coolant since I found that sand and stuff in there. I'll just make sure. And I did pour them back, and I've got them sitting over here. I poured everything I got out of it back into the jugs, and I filtered it through paper towels with a funnel. And they're not quite full, so I got just a little less than 2 gallons out of it, and this was not low on coolant. This had not leaked enough to be low. It was still, the fill line is right down here, about 1 inch below this. Here is about where the fill line is. So we've got it 2 gallons in it, which is probably going to be just about right, or just slightly over full, which it's probably going to be fine as long as it's not above this. I'll keep an eye on it as this heats up and cools off for a few days. I'll check the level, and if I feel like it's a little too full, I'll suck some of it out or something. So I wanted to show you how you fill these most any cars in the last probably 20 years really, is you're supposed to suck a vacuum on these. There's so many heat exchanges in these newer cars that, you know, there's oil coolers and different things. So what you do is you take a kit like this airlift, and here's the part number of this one. I think it's 550,000 is this part number of airlift, and it comes with several different things. But on this one that has the deeper style, and the GM that has the deep style, like that the cap goes down here and fits the O-ring down into there, I had to hold this cone in here to seal down into there. So what you do is you put this down in here. For those that's never seen this, it has a vacuum gauge on the top that you're watching. So you hook this air line up right here. It's just a Venturi type. It sucks a vacuum on it. So you open this valve while you're holding down into there. Now on a Ford or something else, they're not that hard to do. You can just screw those down onto it and they stay. But on the GM style, I just hold that cone down into there, suck this vacuum until it shows you're down in the green, you know, around 25 inches of vacuum, or there somewhere in the green is fine. Now that's after you've drained all your coolant out, because it's going to suck coolant. If you have coolant, it's just going to suck the coolant out and spew out of this line. So once you've sucked that vacuum, then turn the valve off, and then you put this other line on right here. This is just a quick connect like this. It's hard to do this with one hand, but anyway, that goes into there. So you're gonna be ready to open that valve, and then I've put all the coolant into a clean bucket like I said, and so it's just gonna suck. I'll back up where you can see that line. So you just suck all of that fresh coolant. It'll suck it all right back into the vacuum cavity you've created into the cooling system, and theoretically it'll stop when it's full. So it sucked all 2 gallons that we had poured into there. Into here it should be really close to the right amount, and that way you don't have a hard time getting the air pockets out. And you could overheat your engine if you don't do this, because sometimes air pockets just are tough to remove. And there is a bleeder under the cover of the engine there. If you had to do it that way, it has a little bleeder, but it's going to leak coolant all over the engine when you try to do that. But anyway, so that's how you fill it back up, and we've got it full, and I'm ready to get this thing back together and get it out of here. So anyway, that's all there is. If you happen to be trying to do your own coolant leak repair on one of these or any other car really, that's kind of how you go about that. And so I don't know, just showing you my experience. And I've got many years in the business with Ford Motor Company. I've showed before. I was with senior master technician for actually through 2017. Not all of my stuff is in here, but I've retired from that business and I'm not in it anymore other than my own vehicles. And that's why you see me working on my own stuff, and I don't worry about taking it to the dealer. All right, y'all have a good day.